Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I am going to be comparing our beloved Sweet Peach palette today. This is I feel like one of the OG palettes that a lot of people really loved and that was really, really popular when it came out. It was one of the first palettes I heard about when I started getting into makeup, although I didn't get it until a few months ago, but I really like it. And then this next Too Faced Dupe, similar to the last one we talked about in the last video, which actually got way more views than I expected. So I'm assuming people want to hear about it, and I'm still surprised that no one else has talked about it yet. So today I'm going to be comparing them. I'm going to do the swatches, do a look with these, see how they perform. I actually already recorded the swatches before this, and not that great. I mean, the Too Faced one is good. The mattes in there are a little iffy, though. I feel like that's how a lot of Too Faced palettes are, though. But they do perform well on the eyes, I can tell you that. But I don't know how the milk chocolate palette is. I did swatch it, though. The mattes in that are really iffy. The shimmers in it are actually pretty okay. It seems like shimmer shades, like metallic shimmer shades, are pretty easy to make. That's what I've noticed with, formulations when I test stuff out. Yeah. So before swatching the palettes this video, I actually wanted to try and compare both of them since they're both very similar. And when I say compare both of them, I mean, apart from physically, I wanted to look into their formulations. Also, what the heck is that thing on the Too Faced website? I love them, but when will they stop? Anyways, back to this. I went on the Too Faced website, looked up the Sweet Peach palette, clicked on it, and then if my computer will ever load, then I decided that I wanted to look at the ingredients, to look at the formulation of the shadows. And that's when I realized I'm not a chemist and I know nothing about eyeshadow formulations or what it means at all. But the one thing I will say is that on the Too Faced website, it at least shows you the ingredients list. When I went on the Target website, since that is where the Cai Cosmetics milk chocolate palette is sold, I did not see an ingredients list and I could not find one unless I'm an idiot and I'm just blind. Someone let me know if that is the case. But either way, even if it was there, it was very hard to find, whereas the Too Faced one is right there. So that concerns me just a little bit because the Too Faced one is upfront with you about what's in the products. I feel like if brands are not telling you the ingredients in a product, it's kind of not okay, because what if you're allergic to something in it? And also, are they trying to hide something? And I know that's not the case with everything. Not everything's a conspiracy like that. But, if you're making something that you're putting on your face, I think you should have an ingredients list. So there's definitely that just to keep in mind. Anyways, we're going to do the swatches now. So sorry if the audio from before was kind of bad. It's just because it was my first time recording via Premiere using my headphones microphone, which was a bad idea, and I need to record through an actual mic next time. So I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'm just going to continue recording via my voice memos in my phone for this. But yeah, so we're going to get into the swatches now, and the first palette I swatched is the Cai Cosmetics Milk Chocolate palette. So first I swatched the shade called Parfait, and then I did the shade Hazelnut, and you can't really see it, and then I did the shade Mousse, and then after that was the shade called Frosting, and my mirror just turned off. And those are those swatches so far. The shimmers actually look pretty nice, and then I did the shade Marshmallow, and then the shade Macaroon, and then Sweets, and then Ginger Snap, and Creamy Peach, and then Hot Fudge, which is also not the best shade. Next, I moved on to the shade Scone, and I don't have enough room on my arm, and then I did the shade Butterscotch, and then the shade Waffle Cone, and then we did Caramel, and finally we did Nut Brittle. So yeah, those are all the swatches for the milk chocolate palette. Okay, so the swatches for the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette are gonna work the same as they did with the chocolate gold palette, so I'm not gonna swatch all of the shades in the Too Faced palette since there are more in that palette than there are in the dupe palette. I am just going to swatch the shades that are duped in the Cai Cosmetics Milk Chocolate palette. So yeah. So first I swatched the shade Just Peachy, and then I did the shade Peaches and Cream, and then the shade Luscious. Then I did the shade Bellini, which is a very pretty shade. I think it's my favorite one in that palette. And then I did the shade White Peach, which you can't really see on my arm because I'm so pale. And then we did Candied Peach, which isn't the best matte, honestly. Then I did the shade Caramelized, which that one's a really nice shimmer. And then Summer Yum. Then I did the shade Georgia, which you also cannot see on me because I'm very pale. You can see it a little though. Then the shade Tempting, which is actually a pretty nice one. Then the shade Cobbler. And then Nectar, which I really love using as a highlighter as well. Then after that we have Talk Derby to Me, which is meh. Then we did the shade Puree, which actually does perform really well on the eyes despite how it's doing on my arm. And lastly, we did the shade Bless Her Heart, which doesn't look as good on camera as it looks in real life, but it is a pretty good shade. So those are all of the Too Faced swatches. Ah yes, now we're finally getting to the fun part of actually doing the makeup. So first I get in there with my NYX brow pencil in the shade Ash Brown. So you can watch me put that on my eyes. It's a different product than I usually use for my brows. I usually use the Benefit like skinny brow pencil, whatever it's called. I can never remember the name of it, but this one's okay. And I actually just got a NYX one that's similar to that Benefit one I was talking about, and I like that one a little better, but this pencil's pretty good too. There I am cleaning up my brows because I don't know how to use that new product. Before I forget, I'm not wearing foundation today because I'm really trying to work on my skincare. I feel like I've finally gotten my skin to a point where, I don't know why I keep moving my head, but where I really like it and it's really healthy, and I can start using like my Retin-A acne cream I got from my dermatologist again to start getting rid of all the scarring and stuff that you can see, but I really feel like my skin's actually been looking better. So I'm trying to avoid foundation because like a lot of people probably know by now, but foundation isn't really that good for your skin. I just don't wanna keep, you know, putting stuff on my skin every day. So I've just kind of started doing makeup looks without foundation, and now without concealer as well, which I know is like not the most popular option, but I don't know, I don't like complexion products that much. So yeah, I'm probably gonna do a skincare routine video soon because I've been watching a lot of those videos. But anyways, back to this. My eyebrows are two different shapes, but that's okay. They're very bold right now. This new product is harsh to work with, kind of. I don't know. I just gotta get used to it. I'm so used to the Benefit brows, and I'm trying to get cheaper stuff for brows. So I got NYX. So, you know, we'll see. Now I'm finally getting on with it, so I am putting the NYX Proof It Waterproof Eye Primer on my eyes. I really love this one. It's super sticky and it definitely makes my shadows stay all day, so honestly it has saved my life with eyeshadow. It really stops it from creasing, so I really like that. And now I'm finally going in with the Cai Cosmetics palette. So first I go in with my fluffy brush that came with the Naked Honey palette. That's like one of my favorite brushes ever. It's really great for packing shadows and doing crease colors. And I first go in with the shade Hazelnut just to use as a base color to blend all the other colors on top of. So I'm putting that all over my lid, up to my brow bone, and then I go in with the shade Parfait, which I am actually using as like a crease and like kind of upper crease color, I guess. I usually use my crease colors, I take them further up the lid than just the crease so you can see them a little better. I used to just put it straight in the crease and I have hooded eyes, so it's hard to see them. And now I'm going in with the shade, I think it was Creamy Peach. That one is just too blend out the shade Parfait, and I go with my little sponge eyeshadow applicator with the shade Caramel onto my lid. And then I go in with the shade Ginger Snap, and I use my more tightly packed fluffy brush that I have, and I'm putting that on my outer corner just to give my eye some depth. And then I go in with my less tightly packed fluffy brush to blend that all out. As you can see, it actually looks okay so far. And then I go in with the shade, I think that was Parfait again, actually. That was actually the shade Macaroon. I have my palette here now for reference. Then I go in with the shade Sweets, which is that nice dark shimmer shade. Then I go in with the shade Butterscotch. And I'm using that kind of as like an inner corner highlight. And then I blend out with my more tightly packed fluffy brush, sort of the edge of my eye. And there I am with the shade Butterscotch again, and I'm using that as a highlight for my brow bone. And then I'm just blending that out with the less tightly packed fluffy brush. And there we go. The Cai Cosmetics side is done. Okay, now I'm going in with the Sweet Peach palette on my other eye with that same Naked Honey brush, and I will put Peaches and Cream all over my eye as a good base color to blend all the other ones on top of. And then I went in with Candied Peach as my crease color, and this one I did have to dip into a lot to get the color I wanted out of it, but it ultimately did end up being a really good color to blend the other colors into. Okay, and then I'm going in with the shade Georgia to help blend out Candied Peach. And I'm using my less tightly packed fluffy brush on that one, just to blend it all out. And then I go in with the shade Puree on my lid. My camera ran out of battery because I started recording, and when I turned it on, it didn't look like it was going to run out of battery. So I was like, it's fine, but then it did, which I probably should have charged it. It had been going for way too long, but you know. Yeah, so we're going to finish this look on this eye on my phone. Okay, so then I went in with the shade Summer Yum and an eyeshadow applicator, and I did that a little on my outer V just to give my eye some depth, and I'm kind of blending that all over my eye right now as well. And then I went in with the shade Just Peachy as the main shimmer that I use all over my lid. And then I went in with the shade Tempting just to put on the outer V of my lid to give it some more depth and more drama. And then I used the shade Nectar as my inner corner highlight, and I also use that as a highlight for my brow bone. Then I went in with my Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme because I love that and I want to do a nice natural look for the rest of my face. And then I went in with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara because I really like that mascara. So yeah. So this is the overall look, and my camera's dead and I don't have time to like wait to charge it and re-record it today. Like I gotta record everything today because I have a friend coming over. We'll just hold it. So final consensus with these palettes is that the milk chocolate one is actually better quality than I thought it would be. It's more blendable than the white chocolate one. And yeah, some of the shades in it, some of the mattes in it, I hate to say, are a little better than the Too Faced ones, at least at first, because I had to go into the shade Candied Peach with my Sweet Peach palette, like the actual one, a lot to get what I got out of it. But at the same time, I think the Too Faced one is still better quality. Overall, it was easier for me to manipulate, and the colors are just a bit more pigmented, and I can get a more dramatic, cohesive look out of I can get a more dramatic and cohesive look out of that one. If you can see with my milk chocolate side, which is that eye, it looks okay. It's very light though. This one looks better. It's like, you know, date night. Pigmented. The shimmers in the Too Faced palette are also very blendable, which is really good because in the milk chocolate palette they're like and then the dark shades kind of just sit there and don't move as much. As you can see, this side looks a little more muddy, this side looks a lot more blended out. So overall, I like the Too Faced palette better. But yeah, if you were, I think the milk chocolate one is actually not terrible though, and if you were getting into makeup and didn't want to spend a lot of money, I'd honestly recommend it. So yeah, that is the end of the video. And I will see you guys next time when I do the final palette, and I'm also going to do a skincare routine video soon, but I'm going to do the final palette, and that one is going to be the dark chocolate palette, which is a copy of the chocolate bar palette, which I don't have, so I'm going to be using the fake palette on both sides and see what happens. But yeah, anyways, that is it for today, guys. Thank you for dealing with my crappy camera work right now, but I'll get my camera stuff fixed next time. But anyways, bye for now.